Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are really pumped about today. This is going to be a super special presentation. I am joined by my colleague, Michael Kruger. We're going to be giving a really excellent presentation on Brazil and an investment thesis that we have. We're doing some new things, but it's really exciting. So I'm happy that you guys are here live. Quick couple of housekeeping things. If you have a spouse in the other room, I want you to go and get them or yell for them in a very polite way and get them to come and sit with you, because this is going to be a really important presentation, and we're going to move fast through all of these things. So it's best if they are sitting beside you, so you don't need to try to explain to them later on. The second thing is, if you have a phone, this is a 1 hour, phones off, no more flake book, no doom scrolling, just focus for 1 hour. That's what I need you for, all right? Focar, 1 hour. Okay. Number 3, we will take a bathroom break in roughly 1 hour from now, okay? We're going to take a bathroom break, and then we will come back for a Q&A. So if you have questions, I want you to put them in the Q&A box that you just used to tell me that where you guys are from, all right? So get your spouse, no phones. We're going to do a Q&A, and we will have a bathroom break. So those are the big things. Now, quickly from my side, before I let Michael jump in, I've known Michael for a couple of years. He's a globetrotter as well. Him and his family have lived all over the world. Awesome individual. And he works with the gentleman we've presented with in Brazil before. So if you have seen Empire before, then this is the development company that I've known for years and years, and that I have personally bought from these guys multiple times. And I'm looking to buy a lot more from them. The more I read and research and the more I dig into the details on this area, it's insane. This is just a fantastic investment setup. If you guys are looking for something special, you really want to learn something new and see the future of what's happening and make some serious money, I want you to pay attention today. Okay? These are guys I've worked with for a very long time, very trusted people in my life. They're also going to be flying down to Panama to see us at the conference March 14th and the 15th. So if you guys want to meet them in person, shake their hand. If you have any documents that need to be signed in person, then they will be there to assist you with all of those things. So, Michael, if you are ready, I will go ahead and turn off my video and turn off my microphone. I will give the floor to you and knock them dead, my friend.
Thank you so much. Michael, that was such a great introduction. And firstly, welcome to everyone who's joined this morning. I know it's a bit early, it's a weekend, but this is super exciting. It's really a special presentation, and I'm going to talk more about this later, but this development was not supposed to launch this year, and Michael has been pushing us and knocking us, so let's get into it. Firstly, I am Michael Kruger. You all are aware of Michael and just all the wonderful investment opportunities that he offers through Expat Money. I am one of the partners at the company. I get this question a lot, so, clients asking, who's the developer? Can you trust the developer? I am one of the partners in the development company. We are 5 partners that, are in this. But more about myself, it's just about, I've been all over the world. After coming from corporate sales, doing your 9-to-5 job, I decided to leave that behind and really look for opportunities around the world. I travel all over with my family, my beautiful wife, and we have a son, 14. For those who have met me on Zoom calls before, you'll know all about that. But we've been all over the world, and we stumbled across Brazil a couple of years back, and about 6 years ago. And it really made such great sense for us to invest hard-earned money that we've made into a country that is growing as rapidly as Brazil. The investment opportunities and appreciation on actual construction properties combined with short-term and long-term rental just really stood out. I myself have plan Bs and Cs with residencies and investments, not only in Brazil, but globally, but all my focus the last 6 years has been in Brazil and into this company. Our company was incorporated in 1999. This is a family-owned business and still is today. This is important to note. We've had the same tax ID. We're not a developer that's, launching projects, taking funds and liquidating and starting fresh. So we've had over 3,000 properties developed over this time frame, and every project has been completed. Sure, there could be a delay for certain reasons on certain projects, but every single project has been completed, keys handed over, and properties in our rental management program. As I said before, we are 5 partners, so 3 of the partners being Bruno, Carlos, and Flavio, which are 3 brothers who grew up in Fortaleza, just across those tall buildings, which weren't there 30 years ago. Apologies. Our recent completed projects include the duplexes, which you've seen a lot about. Michael actually owns one of these properties and is doing great in the rental market. We've just completed a phase B of these. And then we have our beachfront villas, our garden villas, as well as the townhouses, which are located in Porto das Dunas. We continually really try and exceed us. We're not just a developer that's, trying to sell you property and walk away. We're trying to give, or we do give, the full turnkey process, from buying pre-construction at the best rate possible to doing the construction work, supplying with updates throughout this progress, assisting you with titling the property, and from there putting it into a rental management program, which we run and own, and gives the full turnkey perspective of your investment. It's not, it's built, here's the keys, good luck. We really try and build a long-term relationship with every investor that's invested with us. And that's very important to note. We know I've found a lot of investments around the world where construction is done and that's it. And then I need to try and sort out, how do I rent in that country that I'm unfamiliar with? And this is something that we assist you with throughout the complete process. Here's just a couple more photos of a beachfront villa, of the townhouses in Porto das Dunas. Now, I get this a lot with clients that I've dealt with, and I'm sure I've spoken to many of you before, is why invest in Brazil? Brazil really has strong purchasing power for foreign investors. And the reason for that is how strong the dollar, the euro, the pound is in Brazil and how far it goes. The cost of living is exceptionally low compared to other countries, first world countries in the world. It's really got a diverse economy. Most products are produced locally in Brazil. And we really felt that during the COVID, period where a lot of countries battled with imports or maybe exporting their products, but we had absolutely no shortages. We could travel around and visit all the beaches, but more importantly, there was no massive inflation for the locals in Brazil as we produce and manufacture all of our goods. And that also ties into our projects and our developments, because another question is, how can we launch beachfront property at this pricing? What's the catch? There's no catch. All products and the manufacturing resources are sourced locally within our state, within Brazil. We don't need to import any granite tops. We don't need to import roof tiles. It's all produced locally, and that's why we can do it. Another thing is, due to the low cost in Brazil compared to other countries, building is a lot cheaper as well. This is changing through all the foreign investment, not the actual products, but the land available at the coast. So now is the time. The economic indicators to watch. So this year was quite exciting. For those who know Moody's, the rating service for around the world, on what kind of status each country is regarding their credit, is pushing us up to investment grade, which is a real big boost and great step for Brazil. We have a steady GDP growth. The infrastructure improvements is massive. When everyone thinks about Brazil, and I know you hear this in every presentation, you think Sao Paulo or Rio de Janeiro. A lot of Hollywood movies, etc., show those areas. We are based high up north in Brazil on the equator. So it's in the northeast province. And this is important to note. It's really a development kind of area of Brazil, which is getting massive influx of improvements from the government and from the city. They call it the path of progress from Fortaleza, moving down south the coast. And with this came dual carriageways, a highly improved international airport, Fortaleza, which is on your screen right now, just one of the pictures that I took while I was there. And it's taking in so many international flights. It had a hiccup through COVID, but those flights have returned. Direct flights from Europe, from South Africa, from other parts in Africa, the US, and more to come. This has increased the tourism demand. This is due to the increase in the tourism demand in the area. The middle class in Brazil, and specifically in Fortaleza, is really, really growing. The well-earned jobs and, you know, what people can afford from the middle class. And I'm talking about young professionals that are coming out of university, out of the colleges, going into their first workplace, has really grown in our area specifically. And with that comes a demand for housing. And these young professionals don't want to get into their first 60-year-old apartment block at the end of the city. They want to really get into the up-and-coming new areas around the city. And this is where we saw a massive demand in quality of housing, but is also affordable to young professionals within the area. And that opened exactly up into what we like to do, and that's offering investors a great opportunity for long-term rentals, as well as capital appreciation on properties within the area. Brazil, very good news, and this is news that's only a few weeks old, has been predicted to become the top tourist destination by 2027 for South America. And this is a big step. Argentina and Colombia have been for years, but just due to the investment from the government, from different developers, international brands moving into Brazil, the affordability, the beaches, the culture has just really pushed Brazil up into this market. I'm so sorry, my screen just, there we go. So Brazil really stands out for an investment destination. And, you know, this is to me personally, and Michael has seen this as well, as we work very closely with him purchasing properties in Brazil, being to Brazil and visiting often. I can see and he can see how it has really changed, how the growth, the combination of the economic growth, the middle class, the tourism has really risen. In the past, and what we've seen is most of the short-term rentals would be local tourism from Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Everyone floods to this part of Brazil due to the constant year-round Caribbean feel. Every time I go to Fortaleza, just to step back a bit, I tell Bruno and the team, you know, as we're driving around, that it feels like I'm on an island. It feels like I went to the Bahamas. It feels like I'm on an island of Panama. And it just has all those palm trees, the white beaches, the culture. Everything is tourist orientated down this entire coast, especially in Porto das Dunas, which is fantastic because 15 minutes up the road, you have the big city of Fortaleza for all your malls and restaurants, etc. But it still feels like you're spending time on an island. You can't believe you're on, you know, just a continent on this massive place. It gets me so excited, but it's really, really, really a great place to go to. I want to just spend some time here. So why I'm talking about Fortaleza and Porto das Dunas and trying to tie the two in is because Fortaleza is our big city in the northeast province of Brazil called Ceará. And this is where the international airport is, where most of the travelers will fly into directly or via Sao Paulo. And it really is one of the fastest growing cities in Brazil. That being said, it's not an old city. So everything is newly developed, new roads, new lampposts, all derived for tourism. And it really is truly one of the fastest growing and a booming economy. As I said in the beginning of this presentation, all these high rises, that was not there 20 years ago. That's just the growth that this has had. I want to explain as well, to the north of Fortaleza, it's very much industrial. There's a lot of more factories. There's no room for beachfront developments, high end. There's no room for more accommodation, even for city living. So everything is pushing down south. Our offices are also based right here in the city, and it really gives us a hands-on feel. Every time I visit Fortaleza, let me just explain as well that I spend most of my time in South Africa due to schooling for our son, but I'm in Brazil as often as possible, and we'll be back there in the beginning of January. And every time I fly straight there, I can't believe how things have changed within the city. All the new supermarkets, everything else. I got now tying it into Porto das Dunas, where it's the prime development site for this. This is so exciting. As I explained before, we can't go north from Fortaleza. We can only push south. South of Fortaleza, directly next to the city, is a town called Porto das Dunas. In the past, it only had a couple big houses and there was no direct roadway. So it would take 40 minutes from the city to drive around a natural dune to get to this area. And that's where most of your wealthier locals would buy houses for the weekend to go spend time. Since that time, they built a water park called Beach Park, which is the largest water park in South America in this town. Now we spoke about the path of progress, and that is where the city from Fortaleza has built a new expressway, which you can now access from the airport to Porto das Dunas in 15 minutes. Since that completed, we've seen a lot of developments happening in this area. A lot of people realize they don't need to stay in the city. They can stay on the beach and just travel to the city for work. This is a high demand area. All homes and most of the estates in this area are $1 million. There's a golf estate that's almost done. We're looking at $1.5 to $2 million per home in these estates. All the older homes that have been there for 20 years are being modernized and, redone completely. All the roads in Porto das Dunas currently and have been for the past year upgraded to beautiful, like tourist kind of brick paved roads. Brand new supermarkets have pushed into this area. And here's a view of actual Beach Park. And more importantly, why I went to the slide before I speak about the location of our developments is that around from beach to beach, north and south, around Porto das Dunas is a natural dune. There are 2 breaks in the dune where there are main roads that come from Fortaleza and go all the way down the coast. This town can't expand any further. This is the new, hip, up-and-coming, modern town that everyone wants to live in. That being said, with all the pharmacies and the new supermarkets and some IT companies that are moving into this new modern area out of the city, as well as Beach Park, there are a lot of middle-class staff, young professionals that need to commute daily from the city to this area as they can't afford rentals in $1 million homes. And that's where we saw this demand, and it gets me so excited. So we are launching 2 projects of long-term rentals in this area. And I want to make something very, very clear that there's absolutely no more land available in this area. yes, I know some clients, myself included, would look at Google Maps, satellite view, and you would see, okay, but there's a lot of land available. If you drive there now or fly in, there's no more land available for sale. The ones that are for sale are clients who understand that it's appreciated and there's no more opportunity. So it's not financially viable for a developer like us to purchase very expensive land, as it would have no benefit to clients like yourself. So there's no room for expansion. It's exclusive. The demand is extremely high as there's limited supply. As I said, 95% of available property in this area, you need to be extremely wealthy to be able to afford rentals, and this is not the market that we are targeting. I have spoken about this, and I just want to mention that you get affordable housing, which you see around the world, to really meet a demand for lower income people. This is also not what we are targeting. We are developing a high quality, exceptionally beautiful project that a young professional will feel proud to live in while he's climbing up the career ladder. So this is not affordable, low-cost housing. This is high-quality, two-bedroom rental properties, long-term, in a very exclusive town. We are targeting, as mentioned, young families or the first-time professionals that can move out the city into this area. And there is such a high demand. When these are completed, they will fill up immediately. A great thing for investors like yourself is short-term rentals work great. Of course they do. ROIs are great. Long-term ROI might be slightly lower, but you have a guaranteed 12-month rental income for these properties. And that's why we're moving towards long-term in this area. I know there are plenty of clients on this call. I had a view at the names that have townhouses in this area. So I know there will be questions about them. And yes, we are looking at the demand and comparing ROIs on those short term as well as the long term. And we will be in contact with each investor individually to switch them to long term as the ROI gets higher than the short term demand. So the new project will meet this demand for affordable rentals. It's going to be ideal. We were first going to do a 1-bedroom studio apartment, and we decided to do a 2-bedroom just purely for the young families, maybe first child, maybe, the first couple before they get married. And a 2nd bedroom is always useful for a long-term rental. It's going to be ideal just for access to all the workplaces. And it's not only for, people that work in Porto das Dunas. We've seen a mass increase in, even from our staff, of clients that used to live in the city, but now live in Porto das Dunas because it's just so much better and everything is brand new, and would rather than commute to their offices in the city. But at least they live the island style outside of the bustle of the big city. So now I'd like to introduce you to Porto Residence. That is the name of our new project. It's really where, as explained, the luxury is going to meet affordability for these clients. And this is even something that we discussed as a team, where as an investor, if you're in retirement or you want to leave a snowy UK at this time of the year and spend 3 months, it is a possibility. If long-term rentals is not what you're looking at, then this would still suit ideal to any investor who would like to use it themselves. These will as well be fully titled as per all our projects. And this first picture is the rooftop terrace of this development. This will be a communal area which will have their space for a rooftop hot tub, as well as an indoor area if it rains, or the renters want to host a function, but also just a place to relax after a long day's work. It will have ocean views and just a general barbecue area. This project, onto this slide now, we were only going to launch in January. And, Michael comes a very long way with myself, with my partners, and real good friends. And he heard about this project and pushed us to launch it this year exclusively only for his members. We were pushing back a bit as we've got our own plan with this unit and with this project. But he said, guys, let me take everything you have. There's no more land available. Let's work out a special deal. It's only for my clients, only for today on this webinar. So we buckled. So we're doing an exclusive pre-launch opportunity available only for today. It's only for 2024. And we had initially done a phase 1 and a phase 2 in the plans to launch next year, launch them apart from each other, but there is no more land available. And we predict by the time these units are finished, everything will be rented out. So why wait? Why delay? We decided to launch 40 units. As of right now, there's only 32 available. And the final project of 2024 is this project. I want to go through some of the renders. We're going to have a communal living space with a veranda. All will have ocean views except for the ground floor. The ground floor has a beautiful private garden and patio, which works well for the younger families. We already spoke about the rooftop terrace, which is a great place just to relax. This will also have a communal laundry room, which will be on the rooftop. And the picture on the right-hand side will have just an entertainment area for everyone. So be it birthday functions that they want to book out for the weekend, or just a place to hang out in the rainy season from January to about March. This is the layout of the project. Each unit will have 2 dedicated parking spaces for each renter or each owner. And this is important as it's a 2-bedroom and we really are focused on young professionals as well as their families. Most couples have 2 cars. For transportation, they will have their own dedicated space. As per all our projects, it will have 24-hour security, remote gate access to keep it safe and secure. And then you can see the layout of the units. So this is the launch details that we've discussed with Michael as well. As mentioned, it will have 2 bedrooms. Each will have an ensuite bathroom, each with an open plan dining and living area, each with a balcony and ocean views. The ground floor, you might need to stand on your toes, but the ground floor has a great private garden area as well for the residents. The built area is 55 square meters or 529 square feet, which is more than what we initially planned with the 1-bedroom studio and is definitely not in this area. As I mentioned, all the developments in this area are much, much larger and unaffordable. The cash price on these, we try to keep under 100,000. I think times have changed and our pricing, will never really be under 100 again. But this is where we could get in for this area. And the reason we could do this, besides the affordability of construction in Brazil, which I explained earlier, is due to us purchasing this land, over 10 years ago. So it's appreciated enough for us in enabling us to offer such a great deal. If you had to buy any available land right now, this won't be possible. As always, we have developer financing. I get this question a lot, so I just want to spend a minute on it. In Brazil, as most countries, there's no real banks that will offer a home mortgage or a loan for any pre-construction or any property. It's a lot of red tape. It's very difficult to do. Seeing that need, our company has always offered our own developer finance at a higher price, where we will take 25% down payments and the balance is paid over 24 months, basically over construction. So we continue with construction out of pocket, as we have absolutely no loans with the banks. We're a cash flux company and we construct these anyway out of pocket. It gives you the flexibility for two reasons. Either you're a first-time investor and you would like to see the progress as you are making your payments, which is 100% fine with us. Secondly, and what we've had a lot in the past, is perhaps cash-wise you have enough funds right now today for 1 or 2 units. But if you take the financed option, you could increase that to 4, possibly 6 units. So we've had those kind of variables, but no, it's not linked to any interest rates. It's not going to go up or down. We sell you the purchase price, 25% down, and then balance paid over 24 months. So Michael really liked this initially. I still remember the team and I were talking to him and saying, this is the price, this is what we can do. We were really happy we could keep it under 100 for the cash price. And he smiled, he looked at this, he said, no, for my members, I'm going to sell everything out on your webinar. I want a better deal. Back and forth, we had to run the numbers, but for today only, and I'm going to be exceptionally strict on this, this is not a come back in March if there's one available and I'm going to offer the same deal. This is strictly for 2024, today only. We are offering these units at a much lower price. We normally don't discount over $5,000, but it is going down to $87,300 cash price for a 2-bedroom unit, which is a walk away from Beach Park, the beaches, the palm trees in this up and coming booming area. We don't even know the kind of capital appreciation we're going to see once these have been completed, because this area is just booming, out of control, no more space to develop, it can't expand. So I won't be surprised in 3 to 4 years' time that the value would double from this price. Finance, that's also discounted by $10,000 to $103,000, which once again might help you get more at this price. Let's talk a little bit about the numbers. So as I explained earlier, short-term rental really helps with higher ROIs. As a developer, we are highly conservative on our numbers. We know that year one starts off a little lower as we're getting into the market. We've taken the short-term strategy and applied it to the numbers on the long-term strategy, which by the time these are built would change a lot, and these will get updated closer to completion. But we are conservatively saying over 7% net ROI in year one, closer to 8% year two, and over 8% year three. Once again, highly conservative. We are monitoring, our company monitors the actual rental demand and what apartments or properties are renting for at the moment. And this is what we came up with. This will change over the next couple of years as there just won't be any accommodation available. And that's highly important to note. Just on the right-hand side, just a different view of the entertainment area, which will be on the rooftop, and then just a side view of the units. And I really think, although it's a small picture on your screens, you can really see the modern feel that we're doing in this area, as it really suits with all the different kind of $1 million developments. You get a high-end property at a very affordable price. This opportunity, I might be jumping a bit quick. I get so excited, but you know, this is really a rare chance. We only have 32. I must correct that. 4 units were sold before I started. We only have 28 available right now. If you want a unit and you would like to reserve, please email expat@beachfrontoffice.com. Our team will get back to you. It will be a first come, first serve basis. I will personally phone every single client who is interested. We will be taking a reservation fee as we don't want to hold units on clients that, might be considering this is going to go today. If you want one, please get through to us. Mikhail, I went a bit quicker on my presentation. I got a little excited in talking through it. I'm going to stop right here if you don't mind. I'm so excited, but this is where we are. I don't know if you had a
Amazing.
couple of points to mention.
You did fantastic, Michael. Okay, everyone. I want you, if this makes sense to you, okay? If this makes sense to you, I want you to go to the Q&A chat and I want you just to type in, I'm in. All right? Traditional expat money format, tradition, expat money tradition, just type in, I'm in. Okay? This is an incredible project. And I had to beat the guys up a little bit on the price, but it's okay. They're going to be able to take it because I'm very confident this will sell out in one day. And it's much easier for them to do this than having to try to sell this on their own over the next 6 months or a year or something like that. So 2024 price, massively discounted. Um, it's kind of funny because my audience knows me so well. I've already had some people during the presentation type in I'm in before we even put the offer up. We even had someone in the first 2 minutes say that they're going to take 4 of these because the price point is so attractive and because we know that these are going to cash flow very, very quickly. It often makes a lot of sense to pick up multiple units. So instead of having, one $500,000 unit overseas or even in your home country, you can get rid of that. If you have a rental property in the US or something, you can get rid of that and you can buy a half a dozen of these and cash flow at 7, 8%. And that's a really conservative number. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it's much higher than that, but I never want to put my name to something like, oh, Mikkel promised it was going to be 12% and it ends up being 11% or something. I'd rather say, okay, it's going to be like 8% and it actually be 10 or 11 or 12%, because obviously all investing contains risk. There are no guarantees. But when you work with a developer that's been in business for 25 years straight, that has delivered thousands upon thousands of properties, that they have their own property management company and security and everything on site, they have a lot of data. They really know what they're talking about on this. So we are conservative with the numbers, but they're very, very realistic numbers. And I think that actually it'll be a lot higher. So if this makes sense for you, I want you just to go to the Q&A and just type in, I'm in. All right. And let's see what's going on here. Okay. So this one, the first one here from Nate, South America's largest water park, I'm in. That was halfway through the presentation. That's amazing. Okay, let's go. Okay, Marjorie says, I'm in. Sally says, I'm in. Harry says, I'm in. Serge says, yes, I already reserved one unit. Yeah, so um, anybody who is a private client or a hub member, first class or business class hub member, I sent out an email yesterday because I had to actually go back and forth on the prices with the guys like up until last night. Like, let's just knock another, $800 off. Let's knock another $200 off. Like just back and forth on this because I want this to be the absolute biggest no-brainer investment for you guys as possible. Let's try to make this rental return as high as possible for you and just start adding this to your presentation. So all private clients and hub members got an email from me handwritten last night with all of the numbers. So Serge, I'm glad that you were able to scoop one of those up. We did have 40 of these. And then I know one client took 6, and then another one took 3, and now someone's taken 4. And so, this morning when we were looking at it, was like, okay, we had 32, but I think it's actually probably close to like 25 or something like that for the presentation, because
I look
obviously
now,
private
Mikhail,
client
we're at 22. We're at 22.
22. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, private clients and hub members are going to hear about everything first. That's part of the value proposition. Okay, so Serge says Chris says yes. Okay, Chip says mom and dad said we are in. Awesome. Okay. Jeffrey says, what's the target completion date? When is this going to
I
complete?
I can answer that. Yeah, I was so excited. I rushed through this presentation. Apologies. Target completion date is 24 months from today. We're looking at November 2026.
That's super standard and very, very good. Okay. Um, Alf says, I already reserved one last night. Amazing, Alf. That's great. Ryan says, I'm in. Um, okay. William says, I'm in for two. All right. Fantastic. I always ask this because I want to make sure that we hit the mark. We actually work on these types of webinar presentations usually 4 months in advance. I might not get the final prices. I might not get everything finalized until the night before, but this is months and months and months of work. And so I want to make sure that when I present it to you guys, that it makes sense, that it strikes a chord with you, and that you guys are excited about these types of things. Okay. So there's so much work that goes into this. All right. So what I want you guys to do is there is an email address on your screen right now, expat@beachfrontoffers.com, expat@beachfrontoffers.com. I want you to send an email. Now, this is going to be a first come, first serve basis, but you need to include a phone number, okay? The phone number is because Michael and the team will be calling you back today. So before, when I said turn off your phone, now I want you to turn back on your phone, put the ringer at maximum, and then expect a callback from the team. All right. So email at expat@beachfrontoffers.com, include your phone number, and tell us how many units you want. All right. This is super important. Now they're going to take a reservation fee over the phone with you. You can do via credit card for a small amount, or we can do a bank transfer like an ACH type of bank transfer. All right. They will work with you on the best way to go about this, and they'll stay with you until this is done. The reservation fee is the actual thing that blocks it, stops someone else from selecting that unit. Okay. That is the first come, first serve. So we have to be reasonable here. This presentation, we were emailing out to 23,000 people, 300 people, private clients and hub members. We're getting a look at it 24 hours in advance, and we had 40 units. Half of them are already gone. So you need to put the reservation fee. That's what's actually going to book it. Now, those are huge numbers of people and not so many units. If I could have gotten 60 units, I would have got 60 units. If I could have got 80, I would have got 80. But there's no more land. There's no more land, and there's building permits on how much we can build. So I got as best as I could. I took the entire development for ourselves. All right. Now, when you send your email with your phone number, just put in how many units you want. Let's talk, Michael, for a quick second on payment options for not really payment options, like can people use the retirement accounts like an American with a self-directed IRA? Can they use these type of accounts for owning real estate in Brazil?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
So,
I mean, just short and quick, but yes, 100%, no problem with that.
yeah. So if you have money in an IRA, we can help you to convert that to a self-directed IRA, and we can help you to move the money into these Brazil properties. I fully expect crash in the stock market. I have already sold everything that I own in the stock market. I know I sold literally 100% of my stocks, and I've been moving it into real estate over the last 2 years. And I'd say on capital appreciation, I'm probably already up about 25 to 30% on my properties that we've been selecting. Now, understand this is not easy. I have had to look at hundreds of deals, possibly, like hundreds upon hundreds of deals. And I have to say no to the majority of them because there's so many dogs out there. But when I find something really good, I go in heavy. So I have lots of clients who are not going to buy one of these. You can buy three of them, or you can buy four of them. Actually, if you do want four of them, we can probably 4 or 8. I think we can probably make even a little bit of a better terms for you or something like that. So if you're looking at taking in bulk, then get a hold of Michael. So send us an email, expat@beachfrontoffers.com. Include your phone number, include how many units you like. Turn on your phone, expect a call back. This is going to be amazing. Today's going to be fantastic. Michael, how about we take a 5-minute bathroom break, and then you and I come back for a Q&A, and we'll try to get through as many questions as possible. I'm happy to stay on for a solid 60 minutes and go through every single question that we can possibly do. Okay. I am back. I have made myself an espresso on my break. I hope you guys had a chance to use the washroom and refresh, and we will get into some Q&A in a second. I've also seen, by the way, Michael, the email account that Expat at Beachfront offers explode, like tons and tons and tons. And what I really like to see is, I'm in for two, I'm in for three, things like this. If you can only do one, or this is your first time investing, then amazing. Do one. That's absolutely excellent. A lot of the people who are doing four, five, six of them is because they've had good experience with us, with your company, Michael, over the last couple of years. They've got their properties, they've been staying up to date. We even do a Brazil beachfront newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks. You know what? I will actually put everybody in so that you guys can stay up to date with this. I will add you guys so that you can follow along with these projects, because a lot of this is trust. If you haven't invested with us before, then you should buy one, because you need to get your feet wet. This is super important. You need to go through the process and understand it. But if you have experience with the investments that we do and my style of investing, the projects that we do, then you already see the success that we have and the money that we're making together with a hard, tangible asset. And that's why people are able to buy, four of them in the first 5 minutes of the presentation before we even got to explaining everything, because they already have faith. They already have the trust that we've built up over the last decade. Okay, so one of the other things that I wanted to bring up, Michael, and explain to everybody, you and I have done a lot of short-term rentals together with your colleague, with John Palumbo. He's awesome. I
Yes.
love John, by the way. He's still
Yes.
involved in everything. John's
Yes, and he
awesome,
will
but
be in Panama as well next year, and so will I. So
correct, exactly. March 14th and 15th, when we're doing the in-person conference, John will be coming down. Michael will be there. Bruno and Jan and the whole crew are going to be with us here in Panama. So make sure you guys go to expatmoney.com/conference and you can pick up your tickets. Also, a quick side note on that one, VIP tickets are about 50% sold out already. We just launched the conference about 2 weeks ago. So that's insane. Those will sell out very, very quick. And we're still 4 months out from the conference. But anyways, John's still involved. We love John, but we thought, you know what, Michael, why don't you come up and do a presentation with me, put you in the limelight here. Okay. One of the things that I want to explain is in the northeast of Brazil, we've done lots of short-term rentals, and we love the short-term rentals. But I never want to just do the same thing over and over and over again. Or I just want to I never want to bring you guys the same idea, the same concept. So this one here is for professionals who want to move out to this area because they're knowledge workers, they're digital nomads, or they physically work in the area. They take care of this water park, which is, by the way, a huge deal. This water park is ridiculously large. Like, people fly from all over South America. If this is a destination, people come from everywhere to go to this water park. And if you have kids, you'll know how much they love this. But even adults go crazy for these. These things are super, super fun. So people come from all over. So we wanted to be able to tap into another segment of the market, not just like the people who have, your next door neighbors who have, $1 million or a $5 million villa or something like that. That's great. But what about the people who want to work in this area, who are going to do a lot of the services? We need to support them too. So because there is a shortage of that type, we expect this one to be at like super high occupancy, right? Okay. So there's obviously, when you make money in rentals, there's how much you're going to charge for it, but then there's the occupancy rate. You can charge a ton, but if it's at like a 50% or a 30% occupancy rate, your overall is not going to make a lot of money. We can offer these at a good price. You can charge a decent rental return, but if we have a 90 or 100% or 98% occupancy rate, that adds stability to your portfolio. So I sent out an email talking about the concept of a cornerstone. So if you guys don't know the idea, basically a cornerstone is the first stone they put down in masonry. And this is the stone that supports everything else. All right. Super important to have a cornerstone project in your portfolio, something that we know is going to be turning out consistent rental returns. All right. That's what this is. All right. A property like this fits into the classification of a cornerstone property. So you want these in your portfolio, and then you can take more speculative and higher returns and things like that. Maybe different types of projects, but you have to have a cornerstone there. Okay. So I wanted to get that. I wanted to discuss that with you guys before we get into the Q&A. Once again, send an email, expat@beachfrontoffers.com. Michael, should we do some Q&A here?
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. Hisham says title fees and taxes. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so title fees in our state, and it works the same with these, is 5% of purchase price. So that will be the title fee at the end of construction, after it is complete.
Right. Okay. Jeffrey says, if you purchase through a self-directed IRA, will the investment still qualify for residency? No. I would say no. David says, what is the time frame for finalizing the cash payment? How long would he have reasonably to do the cash payment?
Okay, so all our agreements are standardized to 2 weeks. So it would be 2 weeks from today to get your cash payments in.
Start liquidating stock portfolios. Okay. If you are a foreigner, is better to buy property units in Brazil under a company structure or under a personal name? What are the main differences? Can you explain?
Okay, so I don't know the main differences, but as a foreigner purchasing property in Brazil, you have the exact same rights as a local. So in personal name or through a company like LLC, it all depends on if you're looking at residency ahead of time. I mean, that's
Sure.
how I would answer that. I can
The
get
other
more
thing is
clarity on a case by case.
the other thing is with real estate in Latin America, usually you're going to be signing a promissory agreement, then a contract, and then a title deed. It's kind of like three phases. In most instances, the promissory agreement and the contract can be signed in your own name. And then the title deed is the one where we really have to decide how it's going to be titled. Will it be titled in a corporation, in an LLC, a local company, a trust, a foundation? But basically, you'll have 18 months to 2 years to decide that, so we can work through and we can look at the differences and see, because I mean, I don't even know your name because it's coming through as anonymous. So I'm not sure your situation, so I can't give any individual advice on this, but we can help you through this process closer to the delivery date. Even if we have to re-sign contracts later on, that can always be done. It's the title
Mikhail,
deed that we need to know about. Go ahead.
that is an important point. Thank you. A lot of clients don't know this, but if you're rushing to purchase, we can do the agreements in your personal name. It's not a problem. Your name, your spouse's name with you together. And before titling, which is in 24 months, there's enough time to sort everything out. If you want to then go through LLC, or if you want to establish something through Expat Money in Panama and then put all your there's a lot of options that Mikhail can really help you with. And all that we do is amend the agreements and we just re-sign. So there is time to do it. We don't need to set up the companies first before selling the property.
Sure. Okay, Ty says, can you speak to the overall he says hesitation on Brazil regarding safety. I'm not sure about the hesitation. I hear conflicting info and will love your honest thoughts. Michael, you go first, and then I'll go because I definitely have some thoughts
Sure.
on
So
this.
my honest thoughts is, I mean, look, I'm born and raised in South Africa, a lot more unsafe. When every time I go to Brazil, and remember, I don't spend time in Sao Paulo or Rio, so I'm not going to talk about those cities. But in Fortaleza, Porto das Dunas, and all along the coast, it's super friendly. I feel safe. We're not really locking the doors. We're hopping out onto the beach, taking a photo with the car idling, a couple yards away. I'm not saying do that. I'm saying I feel super safe. So my personal opinion is, it's not all the same. I think every country has a bad rap regarding safety, but I feel safe in the area.
Yeah. I mean, you have to understand that Brazil is a monster country. This is one of the largest countries in the world, 217 million people. It is absolutely massive. Okay. Now, this project that we're doing is outside of a large city. In that large city, there will be unsafe neighborhoods. guaranteed. Okay. Don't walk around at 3 o'clock in the morning drunk with an expensive watch on, down some dark alley. Of course, you're going to have problems, but that's not where this development is. This development is on the coast. There is 24-hour security. It's a tourist area. It is controlled. There's no problems there. Okay. That's number two. Number three is this is not where you are going to be living. This is an investment property. Okay. This tourism in this area, although it has international tourism, it's not the same type of international tourism that we're thinking about. Like this doesn't survive because Americans are flying down there. All right. It can be international tourism from Argentinians or Paraguayans or things like this. Okay. But honestly, the local tourism market in Brazil is so massive that they can support their own projects. Okay. We're talking 217 million people and 40 units here for people, for young families and people who work in the area. Okay. So people need a place to live. And Brazilians go crazy for the beach. They love going to the beach. They love going. They're Brazilians. If you don't know Brazilian culture, they're some of the warmest, most lovely human beings you will ever meet in your entire life. I've been to 110 countries in my life. Brazil is one of my absolute most favorite. Okay. My second child was born in Brazil. Half of my staff members are Brazilian. I go crazy for the food, the music, the culture. They're just such awesome people. And part of that comes because this joy for life. They love going to the beach and being outside and partying and eating. And if you walk by something, they'll invite you over and they'll be curious about you. So you can absolutely go and visit these properties. You can see them. You can spend time in them. No problem there whatsoever. And when you see it in person, you're going to be like, this is crazy. How did I afford a place for less than $100,000, a couple minute walk from the beach with these views? Like, it's just unheard of. So I hope that, because I did see a couple of questions on safety. Yes, there are unsafe areas, but not this, and especially not this development. It's 24-hour security here. Okay, David would like to know how much is the reservation fee? This is kind of a it depends type of thing because I think we've got a new system starting today for the reservation fee, right, Michael?
Yeah, so we're just going to take a $500 per unit reservation fee. It is a bit of case by case. Clients that are taking 4 units, I will phone them and discuss it with them. But we are looking at $500. We're just testing out the new system. It works, but this is to secure your units. If we don't take the reservation fee, the unit's not secured.
Exactly. And it's just because we're doing it this time by credit card, where
Correct.
usually we do it by bank transfer, but we want to try to speed up this process because we don't want, any delays and because there's so few units and such massive demand. So we're taking a small reservation fee on this one. This is just so you can block the unit, okay? And then the
And it's
rest will
all
be
safe
done
and
by a bank
secure.
transfer. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's all safe and secure through Stripe that we're using. No details are saved or kept by us or myself.
It's a
So
it's a
yeah,
US merchant account.
it's
So
correct.
it's
Correct.
exactly.
Yes.
Okay, here's a good one from Marjorie. How do we get the return on investment, the ROI? Is it paid via dividends or when we sell?
No, so the ROI on your rental income is kept within your accounts. Our rental company will send you your statements on the rental amount that's received. Either it can stay there and you can say, hey, I would like my rental, and we can wire the funds through to any nominated bank account. There are online banks in Brazil. If you want to keep it in Brazil, obviously we can transfer it to the US, or it can stay there and it can accumulate for your next investment or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
we just wire it on a case by case.
So this is what I'm doing with a lot of my private clients right now because I helped them to purchase properties in Brazil, maybe 3 years ago. The property's developed. They've got the keys. It's being rented out. It's furnished, rented out. Michael and the team helped them turn on the internet, the water, the electricity. All of this stuff was done. It's in a rental program, and they're making, a very nice return. Obviously, every property is a little bit different. Just a quick side note, I'm getting about 10% annually right now. It's about 1% monthly, but obviously there's slightly slower months and very big months, like during Carnival was insane. But I think it will average out throughout the year at about 10%. This is for a property I bought from these guys maybe 3 years ago or something like that. Got delivered about just under a year ago. So a lot of people, a lot of my clients are now holding the money in Brazil, purchasing a property like this, and the rental income that they've already had, they're putting it against properties like this. So the previous properties are paying down these. And if you don't have a previous property, well, here's your opportunity to start. And then maybe in 2 years from now, when this is delivered and you're cash flowing on this, on your whatever it might be, 7, 8, 9%, you can start using that money to pay down other properties. So unless you're retiring right now and you're like, I need the cash flow this moment, you can actually just start to, you can seed today and start to build this larger real estate portfolio in Brazil. And when we take into account the growing of the bricks and all of this kind of stuff, this can be a really, really good opportunity for you guys. Okay. Oh, okay. This is a kind of a side note. Why do I feel the stock market will crash? Okay, I think this is my personal perspective that they will let Trump take office and then 6 months, a year, 18 months later, they will absolutely decimate the stock market and then they'll blame Trump for it and overall blame capitalism for it. And it will usher in the next 20 years of socialism into the United States. They're going to make it hurt so bad that Americans won't even want to think about capitalism for the next generation or so. Now, people say, well, you can't just collapse the stock market. Of course you can. Study economics and how the central bank does lending. Study LIBOR and the interbank relationships and the rates. They can absolutely constrict the money supply and crash the economy anytime they want. They have ultimate control over these types of things. And if they want to, they will do it and they will use it against us. Now, a property in Brazil that you've paid cash for, that you're cash flowing, that's held overseas in a structure, you're going to be drastically safer than some random stock that you really don't understand the inner workings of, that's completely manipulated. I am out of the stock market. Can the stock market go a little bit higher? Sure, I'm sure it will, but it's not worth it to have a 50, 60, 70% downturn in the market over the next couple of years. It's not worth the stress and anxiety for me. I sleep so soundly at night. I even have my Whoop, my sleep tracker. I sleep so good at night because I don't worry about my family's wealth because we've spent so much time putting it into really, really sound investments like the one that we're talking about today. Um, Chip would like to know, or sorry, from Nate via Chip, do you know the height restrictions for the water park? Do you know how high, how tall you need to be? Because you've got a son.
No, I mean my son's 14, but he's taller than me. So
Okay.
so so no, actually I've never been in there with a small child, but Nate, I'll get the answer for you and send it to Chip. I know Bruno has young kids, so I'll get the height restriction for him on the big, big slides.
Okay. I also just got a message from Jan. He's one of the owners. I've got another screen over this side with the team. He says it depends on the rides, but he says 1 meter, and then other ones are 1.1 and 1.2 meters. So there
Well,
you
there
go.
we go.
That's real time info coming at you guys. That's awesome. But if you guys have questions that are not covered in today's presentation, just send us an email at expat@beachfrontoffers.com, and we will absolutely do our best to answer all of that. Okay, Dom says, where are properties priced in US dollar if all materials and costs and local market are Brazilian real based?
Okay, yeah, I mean, it just makes it easier for investment or for investors. So we price all our properties in USD and we got a USD account in Brazil. It just makes sense to any investor looking to a property. In the back end, we look at how much it would cost, 700,000 reals as an example, to do this project. We look at the exchanges and we try and offer the best price in dollar. So regardless what the exchange does, which it is stable, it's a good price. So it's just less confusing to be offering it in our currency.
And also understand that in South America, it's extremely common for people to have a local account and a US dollar account. Like pretty much everybody will have multiple currency accounts, and it can be done at the same bank. It's not This is not a weird thing. It's actually a very normal thing. And a lot of large purchases are quoted in US dollars. This is part of the benefit of being, having the US dollar as the reserve currency for now. We will see what happens over the next decade or two. But right now, it's still US dollar as reserve currency. So it's very common to quote things in US dollar prices. Okay, MP would like to know, is the ground floor unit yard free? Uh, no, is the ground floor unit yard free for use by everyone or just the unit owner?
Just the unit owner. So when I say private, it's private. Whoever is renting it, or obviously as the owner, it's their garden.
Amazing. Alf says, do you have to pay extra for parking or is it included?
No, it's included. Each unit
Two
has two
spaces.
spaces.
Normally we charge $10,000 per parking space. This includes both of them. That's crazy. If this microphone wasn't on a boom arm, microphone dropped. Two parking spots included, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, ocean views. What was the price, Michael? Go back. What did we
Yeah, I'm
finally
going back
80,
to
87.3 was it?
the cash price is 87,300.
Yeah, go back one more slide for me. Yeah, there we go. 87.3, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. I should have put on there, or we should have put on together 2 parking spots on that as well, because that's super, super
We
important.
should have, but to be fair, I was smiling now at your $10,000 for parking space because I've never really heard about that. So for me, it didn't sound
We
like a
do in
perk.
other
It's a
developments here
given.
in Panama. In Panama, we do one development. Parking spaces are $17,000 a piece.
Well, we will know for future to add it as a perk then because we don't charge for parking
There
spaces.
you go. Okay, someone says, I missed the beginning of the presentation. What is the pricing structure? Well, you'll see it on the screen now. I think that answers that one. Marjorie says, you forgot my question above. Sorry, Marjorie, let me go scroll up and see if I can find it for you. I'm just kind of jumping in the middle here. Well, Marjorie, I see I'm in. Let me see if there's another one from you. If I missed it, Marjorie, maybe we can put it back in and I will absolutely answer you. Okay, I'm in. William says I'm in for 2. Scrolling through.
Oh,
Okay. Scroll to the bottom here. You already answered. Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, so what are the maintenance charges? Okay, this is actually a perfect screen. Julio would like, no, Julie
I
would
thought
like
I'd
to know
jump
what are
to
the
it. A few
maintenance
clients
charges?
asking to share this again,
Yep, let's
which
do
I
it.
will send through to each one individually. But um, the maintenance, so we're on the maintenance question, that's really part of, small maintenance on the HOA. So that really covers that. Any, little leaking taps, anything like that really comes from there. So I think it's really self-explanatory. There's no additional charges within this RI. So we're not excluding charges to make it look pretty. This is the charges.
Great. And if you guys want a copy of this, by the way, this tear sheet, just send us an email, expat@beachfrontoffers.com. We'll send this over to you. Michael will also send you renderings, floor plan, available units, anything that you need, any literature, brochures, anything you need, you send us an email and he will respond to you with all of the information. It's super important that you get your answers to these things. Okay. I will
Correct.
absolutely make sure that happens. Okay. Um, Someone would like to know, can we pay in Brazilian currency?
Yes, you can. So I see there was another question. It ties in. The contracts are in Portuguese and in English. So Portuguese on the left-hand side, English in the right-hand side. That's requirement by law in our state. So you will have the real amount and the dollar amount. I've had this in the past. Please don't try and look, oh, the exchange rate is better or worse. It's the same amount. So regardless, we're not going to change the agreement. You can pay local currency or in USD.
Fantastic. Okay, Larissa says, for those who are concerned, tourism in Brazil, especially on the beaches of the Northeast, is always booming, and private condos are absolutely safe. The most popular time for vacation is from September to April when rentals boom. And here you can rise the prices of rentals and that people will pay it. So there you go. That's awesome. Okay. Ryan says we love water parks. Yes, my kids do too. They're awesome. I love them and my kids love them. So I'm there. Great question. My 15-year-old is 6'4" already. Okay. Ryan, I think your kid at 6'4" is not going to have any problems with the height restrictions on these ones. That's so funny. Um, Okay, I missed most of this from Anonymous. I missed most of the webinar. Is financing available? Yes. Can you please go back, Michael, and just quickly go over the financing options again? There we go.
Yes, so just one more time. Firstly, for everyone who missed the beginning, this is only for today. This is only. There's not going to be a, okay, January, we'll give you this price again. They won't be available after today anyway, but this is only for today. The financing price for these are $103,000. It's our own developer finance. It's only a 25% down payment, and then the balance is paid over 24 months. And those payments can be, it's once a quarter. So every 3 months, you make a payment up until completion.
Yeah, absolutely. I also have what's super common for a lot of my private clients is, you know, I'd say 50% of my clients are highly paid professionals. So think doctors, dentists. I have tons of lawyers who are my private clients. These guys make three, four, $500,000 a year, but they might not be liquid this moment. So because they're still working, they're in their working prime, but they're highly paid professionals. So they would buy, four of these units and then every quarter make a payment on it, and it doesn't affect their lifestyle whatsoever. So you don't have to have all of the money sitting in the bank. And by the way, a 103 finance price over 24 months with no interest payments, no additional, no funny business, no, hidden stuff. Like that's the actual price is really, really good for these. Okay. Really, really good. So it might make sense to, let's say that you have 100 grand. Instead of buying one of them at the cash price, you can buy four of them at the financed price. And you might think, but look, I'm going to save, $12,000 or $15,000 or whatever it is. Yes. However, you will see over the next 24 months between the time that you make the payment right now and delivery in 24 months, these won't be worth 103. They'll be worth 135 or 138 or something like that. I don't know exactly how much it will be, but it will be drastically higher. So if you're going to see a capital appreciation on one unit, and you've got it for a lower price, that's great. But if you're going to see it on 4 units or 6 units, the overall amount that you can make on these on capital appreciation, I'm not talking about the cash flow. That's what we discussed already. The capital appreciation can be much higher on these because traditionally in pre-construction, we should be looking for around 30%. Sometimes it's 25, sometimes it's 35, sometimes yeah, call it 25 to 35, 20 to 30 um, capital appreciation on this. So larger units with a little bit down and then regular payments. Then you guys can flip these in the future. You can do whatever you want. You can rent them out. You can roll them into other properties, however you guys want to structure things. So that is an absolute standard way of capitalizing on pre-construction.
Mikhail,
Okay.
I'd like to drop a bomb live.
Okay.
Okay, so I just spoke to Flavio. You guys will see his name on our agreements. He's our financial director, one of the partners and owners of our business. And if a client is looking at what you just discussed, let me rather get more property, but 12,000 difference. Okay, we can offer any client who takes 2 or more units, the finance price on the agreements, if within the next 12 months, so not 24 months, if within the next 12 months, you've sold some stocks, you got liquidity, and you want to pay off the 2, 3, 4, 5 units, we will drop it down to the cash price. So that means you can secure the units now if you're liquid for the down payments. You can still benefit from the cash price within a 12-month period.
Amazing. So there you go. I mean, the only thing is the only problem now, Michael, is that we need like 100 units. Like, no, and I'm not being facetious here. I mean, at 40 units, there's no way these are going to last past this afternoon. I mean, this is
No,
ridiculous.
no. And that being said, Mikhail, clients must please be patient. I will phone every single one personally myself, working from the first who come in. Our team will respond. We are more than likely looking over than what we have available. And Mikhail, you know how these things go. So if we do start a waiting list, we won't take a reservation fee on the waiting list, but we do have clients that, drop out from time to time.
Sure.
But
Well, that's an
but
important point. The waiting list will be starting today. I mean,
today,
even if you let's put it this way, if you guys are really excited about this and you really want in, my recommendation would be to push Michael and say, I know I'm on the waiting list, but I want to put down my reservation anyways, because that's going to obviously put you at the top of the waiting list. People who pay are going to get taken care of first. If it's just like a, hey, yeah, maybe, well, I mean, you're probably going to get contacted later. So you probably want to put the reservation fee down anyways, even if you're on the waiting list in case someone drops out in a couple of days or something like that, that you'll be the first one. Okay, Ryan would
correct.
like to know, do you have cash flow projections for the finance price? Or maybe, Michael, you could have um, Bruno or someone build that for you and send it over.
Yes, Ryan, I'll send it through to you. We'll put
Great.
one together.
Okay, one would like to know, property annual taxes are always that low, or do they change over the years?
I mean, they change, but not significantly. It's I don't have the figure, but they are low in Brazil.
Great. Alf would like to know, how about the possibility for raising rentals for long-term tenants? So do you expect that you'll be able to raise the rental prices
Yes, so the
annually?
ROI is extremely, conservative, but for sure, year on year, we do raise the rental based on what's happening in the area. So our team's on the ground. We're not just going to keep it at a low rental if we have 100% occupancy, looking at the area. So yes, the long-term rentals will increase annually. It will not stay the same.
Nice. Kendra would like to see the beach access on the map again. Can you please scroll
Oh,
back to the slide on the beach access?
let me just quickly stop here. That's the actual beach. I took this photo when I was there.
Yep.
Beach Park is to the right-hand side. Under these palm trees, there are little tables and you can order some drinks or whatever, food. And this is the actual beach. Beach Park's on the right-hand side. And that beach I was talking about is just at the top of the screen. This is
Yep.
the first location, which is already almost sold out. And it's a short walk down. The area at the bottom of the screen in the middle where the parking lot is, every weekend, the cars are parked all the way past this new project site. This
Mhm.
area is fully parked up. That's
So
Beach
our nice
Park.
big green arrow points to a small red box there. I think next time we'll use like kind of a brighter color than this red. It's a
Yes,
little bit difficult
yes.
to see. Maybe just where's your mouse, Michael? Just go around. Yes. Okay. So that's the spot right there. Okay. Okay. Let's
Okay, and
continue.
for clients that year that we only have some units in phase two available. Phase two is just off screen, but it's in this block.
Yeah, exactly. Because we got a phase one and a phase two, and then they were only
Correct.
going to do phase one. And I was like, well, what happens if I take both phase one and phase two for my clients for today? And that was kind of like because I mean, it's always a negotiation, any developer. And I love these guys and we have a really good relationship. But to get these prices, I have to, you know, you got to give a
Correct. And
little,
we're
you got
not
to take a
gonna,
little, right? So I took
yeah,
both of these for you guys. And so they're within a minute or two walking from each other.
correct. And I mean, Bruno and I parked here. We had lunch at the water park, took a nice stroll down, and actually walked to this piece of land when I was there recently, and then walked back to the car. It's really, really close. And there's not going to be a surprise next year, March, of, hey, we're launching another 40 in this area. No, there's no more land available. Nothing feasible to launch a project like this. This is it. Unfortunately, we don't have 100 to sell in this area.
Exactly, exactly. That's the it's part of the problem, but it's part of the upside potential on this because there's not unlimited land in this area. We can't do hundreds of units. If I could do 100, 200 units here, that'd be amazing. but this is what we've got. So we try to make the best units at the best price for you guys in the best area. And this is why it's in such high demand. And this is also for you guys who get in, this is why you can be sure that you will have a very high occupancy rate on these, extremely, extremely high. Okay, here's a nice one from George. George says, I'm in, Mikkel and Michael. I am new to this, and I sent an email with the information you requested. I'm looking forward to see your response. I'm looking at this to get my feet wet and for non-personal use, as you stated, that this particular property is for non-personal use, which I feel is a good plan. Absolutely. You can't go wrong with this one, George. This is an excellent beginner property. Like, even if you have experience in, back home in North America or Europe or wherever you're calling in from today, even if you have experience from there, investing internationally remotely is different. This is an excellent project to get involved with because it's going to be very smooth for you. It's not speculative at all. These are really, really conservative types of numbers, and you're working with a good developer who's going to be with you the whole 2 years during development, and then even after development to get it set up and to get it ready and to rent it out and find a tenant for you. Okay. Now, okay, Kendra, I got that one for you. David says, I'm in. Nice, David. Good to see you on that one. Uh, David W is I'm not going to say the full name, but he's private client. Make sure he gets taken care of first, Michael. Private clients first class and business class first. That's just the way it is. Part of the value proposition is taking care of our members, our paying members first.
Of course, and I've got his email as well, Mikhail. Thank you.
Awesome. Steve would like to know, does this need to be used as a rental, or can he live there in the unit himself?
Absolutely not. So this is fully title deed your
Absolutely
property.
not. Absolutely, he cannot live in it, or absolutely.
Oh, sorry. I get it. Okay. So absolutely, you can use it yourself.
There,
It is your
there we go.
property.
Yeah.
It's not our property. It's your property. So we can manage it for you, or you can live in it yourself. Or you can say, look, I want it rented out for 6 months of the year. The other remaining 6 months, I would like to take advantage of the property. So we
Yep.
can.
This is the nice thing about a development like this. And if you guys are new to my audience, I only do title deed properties. I don't do leasehold. I don't do anything funny. You see all these types of real estate scams or something like that. No, you have full ownership, the same as anyone who was owned in Brazil or who was born in Brazil. You have the same ownership rights as them. Okay. The strongest laws that humans have for property ownership, that's the type of thing that I want for you. I want my private client, or I want all of our community to have full control, full power over the unit. You want to live in it? Amazing. It's yours. You want to rent it out? Amazing. It's yours. You do whatever you want with it. We're strictly here to support you and help you through the process. Okay, Randy would like to know, are there any nonstop US flights to Fortaleza? I can only see connections through Sao Paulo, Rio, these other places. Michael?
So as far as I understand from our team, Björn can confirm, but there are direct flights from Miami. It depends, I guess, where you are in the States. Sometimes it's a
Miami
longer
and
transit
Orlando,
time.
Jan says. Miami and Orlando.
Miami and Orlando. So there we go. I'm just laughing. Thank you, Kurt. You're also a private client. And yes, I do have your email.
Well, and that's a call to action for people who are a member of our community, but just a free member of the community. That's awesome. We're super happy to have you here today, and we're super happy to have you part of the community. And I hope you guys enjoy the podcast and the free blog articles. If you guys want to take things to the next level, we have 3 paid membership levels. We have Hub membership business class, Hub membership first class, and Hub membership flying private client. If you guys send an email to support@expatmoney.com, we can get you the information how you can upgrade to a paid member. And there are so many benefits that come with that, including first access to all deals. By the way, some deals don't even make it to a webinar like this. Some deals we just do 100% only to paying members. So, it's just taking it, one step further. Whatever you pay in your membership, you will get back tenfold over the next year or two. So it's actually an investment in your education and an investment in deal flow. Okay. If you're looking at deal flow, especially if you have money to invest and you want it out of the stock market, getting really, really, really quality deal flow is super, super important. So you might want to send an email to support@expatmoney.com and look at upgrading your membership from a free membership to a paid membership. Okay, Randy would like to know the grocery store. Can you tell us how far to a grocery store?
Oh, super close. I mean, it's difficult to see on this map. Your grocery stores just across the main road that goes down to Beach Park. And then just to the top of this, it's a bit of an incline. And I'll answer two questions at once from Ryan as well. There are restrictions on 2 and 3 story. So you won't have high-rise hotels opening up in this block and blocking any views. There are restrictions on the height, but the grocery stores are just past this block are all the brand new big, I want to call them like malls. Um, they are malls, but they're not your big malls you might see in Miami, but they got brand new big retail stores and groceries. It's walking distance to answer your question, depending on how much you need to shop. Otherwise, there's Uber or local taxi services. But for residents,
Fantastic.
they would just drive to the grocery store or walk across the road.
Great. And I'm getting messages from the team. They said there's also organic food there, organic grocery stores, or markets. So that's amazing. There's also daily flights from Lisbon and Paris. So there's also direct flights from Europe to Fortaleza, and then multiple cities in the US, and then obviously like tons and tons and tons of connections from everywhere in South America. Because remember, we were talking about before, international tourism is not just North Americans or not just Europeans. It's a lot of other South Americans who want to come, especially because of this water park, which is a huge, huge deal. Okay. So that's good. And then Jan says there's charter flights as well. So there's tons of options for getting there. Okay, we've got a question here. I missed the beginning of the webinar. Can you send me the full recording? Yes, absolutely. I'm recording today, so it will be sent out. We have to render it. You know, there's a little technology things, but as soon as possible, I will send it out to everybody. So if you have a spouse or a family member or a business partner or a best friend or anybody that you think that should watch this presentation, go ahead and send this. I give you pre-authorization to share this with people in your life. This is a very, very important presentation. We covered a lot of ground here. I don't expect you to relay all of the information, you know, a 2 hour presentation in a 3-4 minute conversation with someone. Send them the recording as soon as I get it out for you. And on that note, feel free to send people just our general newsletter and get them to subscribe to the newsletter. And that way they'll hear about these things as well. Okay. Okay, David says, can a path to residency be obtained with the purchase of one unit? Not with one unit, David, but if you purchase 2 units, then we can get you residency here in Brazil. Okay. All units. Okay, Anonymous would like to say or would like to ask, all units have ocean views? Question mark.
Okay, so second story and rooftop for sure. From the balcony, you can, see the ocean. On the ground, no. Yeah.
Okay. So every unit's going to have a bit different. Like um, the higher units will have a better view, but they don't have a yard. So it's like a give and
Yes.
take, you know.
Yes.
I own both in my portfolio and I own them for different reasons. Okay. Okay, I'm getting some more people who are in, and they've sent the email address in here. So once again, guys, go ahead and send an email to expat@beachfront offers. That's how we're going to be able to do the callback. If you put your name and phone number in the chat with me today in this Q&A, it won't be recorded. So Steve, I went ahead and screenshotted it and I sent it to the team so that they're going to be able to follow up with you because I know you're a hub member. I want to make sure you're well taken care of. But for anybody else, please go ahead and send an email expat@beachfront offers. Okay. Okay. Ryan says, I believe Miami has nonstop. Yes, I think you're right, Ryan. Randy says, thank you. My pleasure. Ryan says, love that. Thank you very much, Michael. Amazing. Um, okay. Okay. Okay, Mikkel, I am a pensioner. I bought two of the one bedroom villas from your last presentation. Awesome. You're going to do fantastic on those properties. Those were really, really great. I'm glad you got in on that. That's awesome. Okay. I need to work out my sums first before if I decide to get in on this. Hopefully, there will still be one left later. I recently sold my property and have invested some of the proceeds with you. Fantastic. That's great. You know what you might want to do is because it's a very small reservation fee, you might want to contact Michael, just send him an email, let him know the situation, what you just wrote me, and because you're an existing client, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to work with you. You can put the reservation fee and that will give you a bit of time to do your calculations. And if you don't end up being able to move forward, I'll make sure that Michael returns that reservation fee to you, okay? Because I'm sure that these are not going to last more than today. So if you come back in a week from now, there's just nothing I can do. So you might want to just send an email today, okay? Um, okay. Are the higher level units priced the same, Michael?
Yes, they are. They are priced the same. We do have, it was not mentioned in this presentation, but we do have 2 units on the ground that are slightly larger in square feet, but that I will discuss individually with clients, but all units are priced the same.
Well, make it very simple, Michael. If those are the two best units, then they're reserved for private for paying members, for private clients and hub members, okay? First and business class. Make it really, really clear. Okay.
Agreed, agreed.
Um,
But they all
yep.
price the same. So regardless if you got the yard or if you're on the rooftop, they all price the same.
Nice. Okay. This is a question. Can these apartments be rented as short-term or only as long-term rentals? If someone wanted to do a short-term, are they allowed, Michael?
Absolutely. So once again, this is your unit. We will help market it. We would charge a higher furniture package to get a short-term rental ready, like we do in our short-term projects, but we can do that.
Yep. Also, if you're looking for short-term rentals, what you might want to do is send Michael an email and just say, "Hey, I want a short-term rental." And we can probably help you find something which is built for short-term rentals. These could do amazing on short-term rentals, but I have no idea because we built this concept for long-term rentals, So instead of trying to make a unit fit something else, you want to see if Michael has any inventory left for short-term rentals. Their inventory doesn't last very long, okay? Because these are amazing deals. People scoop them up really quickly. But if you want short-term rentals, I'm sure we can add you to a waiting list. And if something comes up, we can move you into that because, something always happens. One unit comes back on the market. We don't have a lot of inventory right now because they're in such high demand. But if you want to do short-term rental on this, I mean, it's your property. You do whatever you want. I mean, there's no problem with that
And we
at
will
all.
help you with it. So it's not a
Yeah,
problem.
exactly.
You don't
Absolutely.
have to
Absolutely.
figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. We're here to support you. You got 2 years to make that decision. Okay. Someone would like to know, are there elevators,
No. So
stairs?
there will be a stairway in the center of the units where my mouse is. And this is very common in Brazil, in our area, and at all our projects. The cost implication for an elevator and the maintenance just doesn't make it feasible.
For sure. Okay. All right. Talk to us about furniture because now we've opened the Pandora's box on short-term rentals. Talk to us about furniture because these are long-term
Yes.
rentals. These aren't short-term rentals, so we didn't cover it in this presentation.
No, we didn't. And the furniture, let's call it a furniture package. I mean, in reality, it's not a furniture package, but to have them ready for long-term rentals, not included in the price would be the granite tops in the kitchens, all the cupboards, the mirrors in the 2 bathrooms, all the glassworks. I forget exactly everything, but there's no furniture. So what we charge is $5,000 for, let's call it, getting it ready for long-term rentals, which will have all the fittings for machines like washing or dishes. It will have all the countertops, the kitchen cabinetry. Both bedrooms will have their cabinets installed and fitted. And this amount is payable upon completion of the construction. So although clients will receive an agreement now for it, it's really to lock in the price in case there's crazy inflation. They can pay it at any point or up until the point that it is completed. If you look at a 2-bedroom in short-term rentals, just to answer the question, a full furniture package, including ACs, $12,500 to have it short-term ready. Long-term ready is $5,000. If any clients, I don't want to overcomplicate this, Mikhail, but clients might say, hey, it's mine. I want ACs in there anyway, because you think it might, rent out higher or quicker. Of course, we can communicate that on a client-by-client basis and just quote the additional if you want ACs included.
For sure. There's flexibility. These are entrepreneurs and business owners, and they will work with you on this process. Okay, someone would like to know, are there tropical storms in the area? But let's expand this. Are there hurricanes, earthquakes, natural disasters, volcanoes next door? Anything people need to be worried about that's just going to flatten their property?
No, we get this question all the time. Absolutely in the history, can be researched. No hurricane, tropical storms, cyclones, earthquakes. No natural disasters.
It's a big one for the work that I do. I want it to be in a politically safe, a geographically safe, a topographically safe type of area. Okay. We're not looking to put in danger zones or things like that. Okay. This is very, very safe project here. Okay. Are the contracts in English or Portuguese? And um, where are the funds sent? To the USA, to Brazil, to other, explain this piece of the
Okay,
contract and the
so
sending
they
of the
in
funds.
English and Portuguese. It's on one page. Well, more than one page, but it's side by side, just due to the local laws for titling. The funds, we have our banking account to do a wire transfer in US dollar. The funds are sent to Brazil. We do, however, on the agreement for clients who need this or their banks require it, have JP Morgan Chase as our intermediary bank in the US. So if it needs to go via that route, but that being said, most clients just wire directly into our USD accounts in Brazil. I must mention, please, it takes anything from 2 to 5 business days for it to reflect. Please don't worry. We do check and then we issue an official receipt.
100%, 100%. Okay, we're in the last few minutes here. Let's try to get to the last couple of questions. If you guys have any burning questions, put them in the chat box right now. I think we've answered a lot of the questions, but if we don't get to your questions, you know, don't be mad at me. There's a certain amount of time that we've been able to go through this, and I try to get to as many people's questions as possible. But it's totally normal that we won't get to 100% of the questions. All I need you to do is send an email, expat@beachfrontoffers.com, and then Michael will answer any outstanding questions. In the same vein of thought, if you have questions that you didn't want to ask publicly because they're private things, or you want to discuss your individual situation or anything like that, send an email. We're business owners. We're here to help. We're here to work with you guys. We're real human beings. This is not some big dumb company or something like that where you're not going to get a human. It's going to be Michael and the team who are actually answering you. Okay. And if you're a private client, I always get this one after every single webinar presentation, by the way. Private clients and hub members, paying clients, will email me and then they'll say, hey, Mikkel, is it okay if I buy this one? Or do you think this is a good idea? That's awesome. You guys can feel free to send me this one, but this is kind of a pre-approved project here. If you guys are looking at this one today, I've already looked at it at every single angle. I can't think of any circumstances where this is not going to make sense, because this goes back to what we were saying before about a cornerstone property in your portfolio. All right. You need to have cornerstone properties in your portfolio. We don't want things like, it's great to do some speculative things and look at these massive upsides and all of that kind of stuff. But just having some really stable things there is really, really good as well. Okay. Now, Juan Carlos would like to know, how far from the beach? Can you tell me in minutes how long it would take you to walk to the beach? Ballpark.
I mean, for me and Bruno, we were walking casually and chatting, from the beach to this lot. And it took us no more than 5 minutes. So I guess it depends on your gentle stroll or looking at the surroundings. It's very close.
Yeah, nice. And because if you're going to do short-term rentals, then you want to be like on the beach, not like ocean views, but like beach front. So we've done lots of beach front together that we would save for short-term rentals because that's going to max this. But for someone who is living there 365 days a year, a nice couple of minute stroll, 5 minutes or less to the beach is completely reasonable. Like that is amazing. Yeah, I'm seeing all these ticks. Yes, no hurricanes, no tsunamis, no earthquakes, all of these things. We get it, bro. We get it. Yeah, no political enemies. Yeah, very, very safe area. I have 3 screens in front of me, by the way, guys. So I see all the stuff from the team over here. Okay. I hope that today's presentation has been useful for you guys. I hope you guys have learned a lot here. I'm going to try to get to the last couple of questions. If you guys enjoy this type of stuff, if you enjoy these presentations and the work that we do to bring you guys really exclusive deals, just go ahead and just say a thank you to Michael and the team and to everyone at Expat Money. By the way, Expat Money is not just me. We're over 30 people. It took, dozens of people to put this together, the slides, the transactions, the due diligence, the research. Obviously, from the developer's side, all of the zoning and working with the municipality and the construction and all of these types of things. If you guys appreciate this work we do here, please just put a thank you in because there's so much copy and paste stuff out there in the world. There's so many people who they just do the same things over and over and over again. And we're always pushing the envelope. We're always trying to do something new and exciting for you guys. We try to do things that are going to be worth your time, that are going to get you as pumped up as we are. We're having so much fun over here. We love the work that we do so much. So if you guys enjoy this stuff, please just let us know. We really do appreciate it. Okay. Okay, let's see. Last couple of questions here, and then we will get out of here. We'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Okay, Okay, Mark asks about differences between ROI between short and long-term rentals. So this one here we're looking for, between 7 and 8%, very conservative for the long term. For short-term built properties, beachfront, different development, usually we're working at the 10 to 12%. So it's a little bit higher return, but it's a little bit harder on the property. Obviously, if you have people coming and going and opening suitcases and banging into things, there's a little bit more wear and tear, which means you usually have to paint a little bit more often. So those are things that you need to keep in consideration. We've done lots of short-term rentals, but we want to bring in some long-term rentals. If you do prefer to have a short-term rental, send a message to Michael, and then he will see if there is something available. No promises on that one, okay? Someone wanted to know, can you buy this property and live in it yourself? Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Uh, Julie says it was easy dealing with the company. Michael is very approachable! Exclamation point. That's
Thank
amazing.
you,
I'm
Julie,
happy
and
to
you were
hear
a
that.
pleasure to deal with as well. Thank you.
There we go. Yeah. Lots of people know Michael from my audience. Although he's the first time he's doing a webinar with us because John usually does the webinars, but everybody knows Michael on the back end because he's the frontline guy who's like answering everything and getting the pictures done and the updates and all of this type of stuff. So Michael works for a living. Like you hustle, and I'm always super impressed. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so someone would like to know about insurance. Talk to us about homeowners insurance, property
Yeah, so
insurance.
insurance, we have it on the RIs, as like a common cost. But, most of our investors, and I think all of our investors, have never taken up insurance. So we don't offer the insurance ourselves. We would recommend third party. But we have, on building insurance for the next 5 years that we cover, that's in the agreements and by law. But actual home owners insurance, as we don't have extreme weather cases like hurricanes, tsunamis, or anything like that, people just don't take insurance on it. Of course, we can recommend it. We
So
can
whatever you
recommend
want.
companies. Yeah. So
Yep.
whatever the client wants to do, it's not a problem.
Yeah. Very libertarian. We will support you. We will help you. We will answer your questions, but it's your decision. We try not to force people into things. I don't believe in force. Okay. Someone else is asking about the fee structure. Can you please go backwards in the slide deck and pull up nope, one more.
Oh,
One
sorry. There
more.
we go.
This one here. Okay. So 87.3 for cash price, 103 for finance price. And then the team said the final finance price at 103 would be for a 2-year structure. But if you pay it in 1 year or less, and you're buying multiple units, let's call it cash price. Okay. So multiple units, but you want 6 months, 8 months to pay it instead of immediately, then they will do the cash price for you. Not for 1 unit, but for multiple units. All right. So that gives you an opportunity to buy more of them. I think that's the bulk of the questions. If once again, guys, if I didn't get to your individual question, I'm super sorry. I tried to go through as much as possible. Sometimes people ask things in slightly different ways, and I didn't call out your name, but I just did a general question, which I think answered it. Okay. Okay, so Marjorie says thank you. Steve says thank you, Michael. Sally says thank you. Um, Thank you all! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Thank you all. Very interesting. Thank you, Michael and Mikkel. Best, George. Thank you for the presentation. I'm in. Oh, that's great. Do you have oceanfront projects available? Yes, if you send an email, we'll see what we can get you if there's something left there. Thank you, Michael and Mikkel. Thank you very much, team. Mitchell says, clapping emoticon. That's cool. Um, there's a link in there for direct flights. Let me put that one in there. You guys can pull that one up. Ryan says, yes, Michael is great to work with and very responsive. That's awesome. Kurt says, I might have missed it, but when is scheduled delivery? 24 months from today. Okay. 24 months from today is delivery. All capitals. Thank you. Great presentation project. Thank you. Exclamation. Melissa says, thank you. Chip says, thank you. Okay. Amazing. We did it. We got it in at exactly 2 minutes to or 4 minutes to the 2 hour mark today. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you guys
Thank you,
really got
everyone.
a
Thank
ton
you
of
so much,
value
Mikkel.
from this one. Great presentation, Michael. Last time, send an email, expat@beachfrontoffers.com. Yes, today was recorded. Yes, I will send it out as soon as I can. And yes, I expect these to fully sell out today. Have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much. Bye.